I have been breastfeeding now for 7 months, over 7 months, and I am so proud. The little boy that Casper has become today is down to me. He's really only been weaning like a month. He's a real well-built little boy, and I feel quite proud that he's done that on my breast milk. If I feel so proud about it and excited about it, then if I share these tips with other people, then hopefully I can spread a little bit of good around for people and make people feel a bit more confident. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can see more videos like this, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. This is a vlog that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. The reason that it hasn't come out until now is mainly getting the time to do it, because it's something that I really wanted to focus on. So Tim has taken the baby for a walk so that I can do this vlog for you. But I do have Smidge. I don't know if you can see him or not. He's here. So we're back to the good old days where Smidge is keeping me company. He's always by my side. It's nice to have him here, Smidgey. This is actually a breastfeeding vlog. It's something that I really think is important that I get out there actually. I've been trying to put a lot of social media posts up and stuff like that because I've been on both sides of the fence when it's come to breastfeeding. My first daughter is 17 and Casper is only 7 months. So there's been a big age gap between my children, and with my first, I didn't breastfeed. With my second, I did breastfeed. I felt it was quite important to do this vlog, being one of these people that has tried both, so I can put it out there as to the pros and cons of breastfeeding and pros and cons of not breastfeeding. I feel like I want to encourage a bit of breastfeeding because I feel a lot of people out there are standoffish about breastfeeding. It's hard to do in public. It seems like it's not a very convenient way. So basically this vlog is all about just getting the message out there to people to spread awareness that breastfeeding is a really natural thing. The general public need to learn to accept mums breastfeeding as something that's really normal. Before I do go any further with this vlog, I do want to put it out there that I'm not an educated person as far as breastfeeding goes. This is just an opinion from one mum to another who is successfully breastfeeding, and all it is my take on how I feel about breastfeeding. So if anybody out there is struggling with breastfeeding, then hopefully they can watch this vlog and maybe get a little bit of comfort, sit back and relax a little bit more about trying to do it. I'm just going to go through what happened with my first child who I didn't breastfeed. Breastfeeding is not for everybody, that is for sure. And anybody that doesn't breastfeed shouldn't be judged on that. If you can't do it, you can't do it. Or if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. I mean, breastfeeding is not for everybody. With my first child, I tried to breastfeed. I gave it 2 weeks. I gave up. With Casper, I pushed through. When I had Holly, I went into it with an open mind and was keen to give breastfeeding a go. What I didn't realise is how painful it would be. And when I say painful, I mean toe curling. There's no other way to describe it. I would literally have her in my arms, she'd be feeding, and I'd be like, oh, and I'd be wincing and everything, and the pain would be excruciating. Now, it's not painful for everybody, so I hear, but for me personally, I found it really painful. The midwife that I had at the time was very pushy about breastfeeding, and she was really trying to force breastfeeding onto me. At the time I was like, yeah, it's what's best for the baby, but I was struggling, and it got to the point where every time the baby wanted to feed, I would resent the baby in a way, because I knew that if the baby wanted feeding, I was going to be in pain. So I'd be like, oh God, no, the baby wants feeding again. No. And I just couldn't stand it every time that she wanted feeding. But I tried for 2 weeks, and I just couldn't do it anymore. At the time, I was 22 years old, so I was quite young. I did sort of argue to the midwife, and I said, look, my nipples are actually bleeding a little bit here. The midwife did say to me, well, you can breastfeed successfully on one breast. And I was like, well, I don't really fancy that. You know, that's too much pressure. So I did move on to bottle feeding with Holly. So I do know what it's like. So when I had Casper, as a lot of you will know, he's an IVF baby and we struggle to conceive him. I do want the best for him. I'm prepared this time, in case it's different, to give Casper a breastfeeding shot. But I did say, but if it doesn't work for me, I'm not going to be bullied into this. If I want to stop, I will stop and I will go on to the bottle. Or if we can maybe do both, that would be great. When Casper was born, I thought, let's give it the best shot. Let's go for it. History repeated itself. And I can say I was in agony again. Again, toe curling agony. So nothing had changed in those 17 years. It was still as painful as ever. And I did tell the midwife this and I thought, this is not going to last. This is definitely not going to last. But people keep saying, or I keep hearing, that usually within 6 weeks of breastfeeding, it gets easier. I thought if I can just give Casper what I gave Holly, get through 2 weeks and I'll just see how I go. So I got through the 2 weeks and I thought, I'm still in agony. I'm just going to not be selfish in any way, shape or form. Not that you are selfish, because you're very important. You've just given birth. You're just as important as your baby. But me being me, decided to just be like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm going to see if I can challenge myself, see if I can get to 3 weeks, which is a little bit more than Holly. Can I do it? Can I do it? And I did do it. I got to 3 weeks and then 4 weeks. And yeah, it was still agony. There was a day where I just thought, I don't know if this is going to last. Tim came home and he had brought me some roses and said, these are for you for doing what you're doing, breastfeeding. I find it's really important to have supportive people around you, people that are going to help encourage you. It helped me. As painful as it was, I just kept going. And then next thing you know, I got to 6 weeks and Tim turned around and said to me, you haven't moaned about the pain for a while. How is it? And I said, do you know what? It's actually getting easier. It really is getting easier. If you do struggle with pain when you're breastfeeding, give it 6 weeks and you will push through that barrier. I did, and it sounds like other people did as well, and I'm glad I did, because these are the benefits of breastfeeding. So, what are the benefits of breastfeeding? Let me tell you. When you go out, you do not need to prepare bottles and take them out with you. It's one less thing to worry about, because your milk is there on demand and you do not need to worry about packing extra food for the baby. That is a blessing. In the middle of the night when the baby cries for a feed, you do not need to go downstairs, warm that bottle up, and while you're warming it up, the baby is crying and going crazy, because all you need to do is get the baby out of the cot and put the baby on your breast. Job done, feed straight back down. As simple as that, because they haven't had a chance to properly wake up. The temperature of your milk is the right temperature. You don't have to go, is it too hot? Is it too cold? It is just the perfect temperature for them. Yes, believe it or not, there are benefits for yourself. Breastfeeding pulls your figure back together. A lot of people have said to me, I don't know if this is just coincidence or if this is breastfeeding, but I was always told when you breastfeed, it pulls everything all back in nice and tight. I lost the baby weight very quick. I'm usually a size 8. At the moment, I'm a 10. And I'm not pushing myself. I'm happy with 10. 10's great. But I'm not quite where I was at. But I'm not pushing it and I'm happy with that. I can't grumble at all. But yes, it does pull your figure back together. What are the cons to breastfeeding? The biggest con to breastfeeding is trying to breastfeed in public. And this is why you'll find so much on my Instagram page and on my Twitter page of pushing breastfeeding in public, because I think it is so hard. But I think if we can all have the mind frame that it is a really natural thing, then people around us will accept it more, and then people that are breastfeeding can feel more comfortable. But there are ways around it as well. If you're feeling a little bit exposed, there are things you can do, certain clothes that you can wear. Like, I find that the most comfortable clothes I can wear is like a vest top, you know, like a thin strap vest top, quite floaty from the breast downwards. I always find that if I put Casper on my boob, then the top will just lay just above his face. So when I am breastfeeding, nobody can really see anything because Casper's head is in the way. And the top part of my boob is kind of covered by vest top anyway. And I find that's great. There are other ways you can do it. You can use scarves and stuff like that. I can sit here and tell you about all the different kind of clothing that I have got so that it will help you breastfeed in public. But to be honest with you, it's probably best that you just find what's comfortable for you, because everybody's different. Everybody's figures are different. Everybody's comfort is different. But if you're in a calf or anything like that, it's always a good idea to try and get a booth or get something in the corner so you can turn slightly, or if you're with someone can kind of cover you. So that is probably a con. The only other con that I can find to breastfeeding is when I'm feeding Casper before he goes down for bed, if I haven't expressed a bottle and I've fed him on the breast, I'm really unsure of how much milk he's actually consuming. So he can feed a little bit on demand. He feeds little and often. So at the moment, he's not sleeping right through the night. He's still waking for his feeds, which is a pain because I've got broken sleep. But again, he's feeding and going straight back down. So I'm not like awake for a long time. I'm just getting up, doing the feed and putting him back down. It is as simple as that. And he isn't feeding for very long. He'll probably feed for under 10 minutes, I would say. But again, there's things you can do to get around it. Once you get used to expressing milk, you can make sure that you give him a bigger bottle. I've expressed this morning and I've expressed again later in the day. Once they've been in the fridge a little while together, you can amalgamate the milks and then reheat them so you've got more. We're also giving Casper a faster flow tea so that he doesn't fall asleep too quickly, so he stays awake and consumes more. So we're going to try that and see how it goes. Those are the pros and cons, but as you can see with the cons, there are ways of getting around it. My opinion on breastfeeding, now I've actually established it, I absolutely love it. I don't want to give it up. When I feed him, it is the most loveliest moment as well. Like when I used to be in pain feeding Casper at the beginning, I used to go on my phone or watch TV. I used to treat myself to an episode of Baywatch, I mean, to kind of occupy my mind a little bit. But now, like, I'm more relaxed with it and I'm not in any pain or anything like that. I can really enjoy the moment and it is the most loving moment. I literally just hold Casper in my arms and I just look at his every single move. His mannerisms when he's feeding are changing over the months. And at the moment, he's got to a point where he'll just be gazing into my eyes and twiddling with my hair. If my hair is flopping down, he'll be going to grab my hair and he'll be twiddling it around his fingers. Oh, and it's just the most cutest thing ever. It's a really loving moment and it's a proud moment as well. So I definitely recommend to anybody who is breastfeeding but thinking about stopping, keep going because it is the most beautiful thing ever. Feeding in public is something that I was really nervous about to begin with. I just remember feeding in Costa and Tim trying to sort of like cover me up and it being like this great big mission to go out and hide and stuff like that. And I have got to the point now after 7 months where I'm just like, I'll be as discreet as I can be, but I don't really care if anyone catches a glimpse or anything because my baby needs feeding and that's all that matters to me. I can't be selfish in the respect where I'm worried that someone might feel a bit offended. So places that I have breastfed, where does one begin? I have a list here. I wrote a list because I just did not know where to begin. I have fed on an aircraft. Yes, on more than one occasion. Casper is a well-travelled baby. We have been abroad 3 times with him already at 7 months, planning our next trip already. So I fed on Ryanair flights and EasyJet, and I have fed on Wizz Air as well. Always find that on an aircraft, if you're feeding and you're struggling, get into the middle seat. And if you've got family on either side, fantastic. If not, take the window seat. It gives you that little bit more privacy, or just chuck a cardigan over your right or your left shoulder, depending on wherever you're sitting. I have breastfed on the beach, probably the easiest place to breastfeed actually, because most people have got their boobs out anyway. I've breastfed at a water park, out of all places. I fed in a hotel lobby and around the pool on holiday. I've breastfed in restaurants. I've breastfed in Bella Italia, in Brewers Fair, ones on holiday as well, and I've breastfed in them. Actually, when you're in Spain, I think you find that it's very, very common in Spain to breastfeed. It's so natural over there. I've breastfed at a theme park. I've breastfed in Starbucks, and Starbucks is probably the biggest challenge because all the way around Starbucks is a glass window. The first time I went into Starbucks with Casper, I saw a woman breastfeed and I thought, how on earth is she breastfeeding in Starbucks with glass windows? I found myself staring. I was one of them people staring, but I wasn't staring in a way where I was feeling offended. I was actually feeling in awe of her because I thought, wow, good on you. And now I breastfeed in Starbucks. Yeah, that's one on the list. I've breastfed in Costa so many times, different Costas as well. I've also breastfed in Caffè Nero in Norwich as well. I've breastfed in the airport. There is nowhere to go in private at an airport. Well, not the airports I've been to anyway, not even in the UK. There are no rooms where you can breastfeed. Well, not that I could easily see. There's baby changing, but they're baby changing in the disabled loos. And I'll be damned if I'm going to feed my baby in a toilet. If that is their idea of baby feeding, that's not good. But that aside, if that wasn't their idea of baby feeding, then there's nowhere to feed a baby. We're going to breastfeed in public places and we're just going to do it. So I breastfed on these chairs in an airport and I've breastfed in cafes in an airport. If you look back on one of my vlogs, the vlog Traveling with a Baby, you will actually see a clip of me breastfeeding at the airport. We went to Mallorca, and once we got off the plane in Mallorca, there was nowhere to breastfeed either, so I just done it on a chair. I breastfed in the hospital, and what I like about the hospital as well is they've got signs up all around saying, "We welcome breastfeeding here," and I think that is so lovely, and that just makes you feel so great as a breastfeeding mum. I've breastfed on a park bench in public. And I've breastfed in the car, and they're just a few places I've breastfed. I have breastfed all over, and once you just sort of break through that barrier, it gets easier and easier. I go to the city a lot, and when Casper was first born, when I was trying to get to grips with breastfeeding, I must say what great facilities. Basically chapel fields, they've got excellent facilities for baby changing and baby feeding. They have got a separate cubicle as a toilet in the baby changing area, 2 baby changing facilities, and they've also got a corner where you can sit on a comfortable chair and breastfeed your baby as well, with a shelf to put your bags on and everything. So that saved my bacon so much in the early days. I think you'll find that most of the malls in your city, I don't know about your towns as such, or not that I've noticed, but in the city certainly. But I don't really need to use those facilities anymore because I've got to the point where I can relax a bit more and just breastfeed wherever. But like if you're a little bit standoffish or you still haven't quite got confident with it, then you can be reassured that there is somewhere to go when you go to the city, and I think that's lovely. Now, I don't know if this is a breastfeeding thing or whether this is just like a new mum thing, but I found that a lot of my hair was coming out. The midwife did say to me, "You wait till your hair starts falling out." And I thought, what? Well, my hair never fell out with Holly, but about 6 weeks into breastfeeding, I did notice I was losing clumps and clumps of hair, especially around this area here, like the side parts. And that was scaring me. I was like, oh my God, I'm losing my hair. But I think it is all very natural. You can see these little short bits here. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing, right? These are my baby curls. Short hair. This is where I lost the hair and it started to grow back. So it does start to grow back. I think it's just almost like out with the old, in with the new. I don't know why that happens, but that does happen. So if you do start to find that your hair is coming out in massive clumps, which mine does anyway, to be fair, but like major clumps, don't panic because that is all very, very normal. I bought myself a couple of breastfeeding bras that are supportive. I did buy a couple from Primark, but I've got to admit, my opinion is, if you're going to get some breastfeeding bras, don't buy any in Primark. Honestly, they're not good. As far as I'm concerned, they don't support you enough. So I found John Lewis was the best, and this is just one of my bras, and the reason I'm showing you just one, I've got another one in white, I've got one in navy and one in white because it's good to have a light one and a dark one. I didn't buy too many either because I weren't sure how long this breastfeeding business was even gonna last, and these are great quality anyway, and I just alternate them. But this is the bra that I use. It doesn't look attractive, but it is actually really supportive and it does make my bust look really good, I can't lie. What I love about this is the clasp at the top. Once you pull this down, you still got a nice bit of coverage over the top of your boob, so it just leaves this gap here. So when baby is feeding, not many people can see much of your boob because you've got this surrounding it. So this bra is perfect and it feels really good quality. It's a really nice feel as well. It's just so soft and shimmery. And I got 2 for £30, so it works out at £15 each. But as time has gone on, although they are great support, I am just wearing like normal casual bras, to be honest with you, and I'm just taking my bra off and just chucking it aside and just cracking on with it, to be honest. Breast pads. I've tried every single breast pad on the market because I just wanted to see like which ones were the best, which ones absorbed the milk the best, like especially in the night when you're prone to leaking. And I spent lots of money on just breast pads. Honestly, it's crazy. If you're gonna use breast pads, just go for the cheapest ones that you can find, because no word of a lie, after getting all the different brands, all the, is it the Lanoche ones and stuff like that, I tried all the brands, they're all the same. They are all the same. So just go to Savers and buy the cheapest ones that you can. None of them are any more comfortable. None of them slot in your bra any better. Just get the cheapest ones that you can. So this is the breast pump that I use. It has just been sterilised. I sterilise the breast pump after every single use. The brand that I use is Mandela, and this was recommended to me by my midwife. I always make sure that this is extra charge. If you don't have a lot of charge in it, it doesn't pump as well. So to pop this together, you put this yellow disc into this white attachment and clasp it into place. Once that's done, you pop it onto the bottle that collects the milk, screw it on, and then you also place the attachment that goes onto the breast for pumping. I will pop the link to this in the description for anyone that would like it. It is so important, I think, to, rather than have a manual one, to invest in one of the ones that is powered, because I just find that it works so much better. When you first use a breast pump, it does feel really, really strange, but you do really, really get used to it. I have been working in the evenings doing my singing, and I've been going as far as like Kings Lynn and stuff like that, which is a good 2-hour drive before I even do my work, so it is taking majority of the evening. It is quite important that I get ahead of myself with expressing milk, because Tim does need to be able to feed the baby whilst I'm at work. And the most important thing to do is to plan ahead. If you plan ahead, then you should be all right. If you've just expressed milk, you can leave it out on the side in a bottle for up to 4 hours, but it needs to be consumed within the 4 hours. Any longer than that, then it would need to be binned. If you refrigerate it straight away, then you can leave it in the fridge for up to 4 days. But once it comes out of the fridge and then you heat it and use it, it can only stay on the side for up to 2 hours. Okay, so it's quite a lot of information to take on board. If you don't plan on using it within the 4 days, then you can alternatively freeze your breast milk. But that is something that I haven't needed to do yet. I've always just been okay with refrigerating it, because maybe my supply is not as great enough to do that. But if you are really lucky and you have got a major supply, freeze it. I definitely would freeze it, because one of the great things about breast milk is it is free. So make the most of it, and if you've got plenty, then just freeze it. That is something I highly recommend. You can buy bags to freeze your milk in, but it's not something I've needed to worry about, but it's something that I would definitely recommend. In order to keep your supply going, my advice to you is to eat really well, because one of the things that I had noticed is that my stomach was like a bottomless pit. I just could not stop eating. You need to keep eating and eating and eating. It is important that you eat really healthy. The next thing you need to do is you need to keep your fluids up. I'm one of these people that will just drink tap water. I don't need bottled water or anything like that, or even filtered water, which you can do, but I personally just drink it straight from the tap. It's never done me any harm. Well, I don't think it has. Whatever you were drinking before, or should have been drinking before, double it or triple it even. If I didn't have like a routine in my mind as far as like water goes, then I probably would forget. So I have to have a bit of a routine. So before I feed Thumper, I need to get a glass of water and drink it, not down it, because it needs to take time to get through the system, but you know, just slowly drink it, and I make sure I consume that full glass, and then after I've fed Thumper, then I will drink another glass. So that is my sort of routine, to make sure, as a reminder, that I don't forget to drink my water. So once you get a routine in your head, then you know you should be all right with it, to be honest with you. It's probably recommendable, to be honest with you, that you get like, you know, like those bottles that you have to fill up. I mean, I did have one, but I lost it somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. Most things I lose, to be honest with you, anyway. But you know, they're really good, because they've got like the times of the day on it and stuff like that. So you sort of know where you're at with drinking water. So the best thing to do is probably use one of those and refill it. Just a little bit of a tip. It might really help you along your way. I really should take my own advice with that, actually. In fact, I will. Tomorrow I'm going to go out and buy a water. One of the biggest challenges that me and Thumper actually have, and I don't want this to put anybody off breastfeeding, because this is not something that happens to everybody, to be honest with you. This has just happened to us. Thumper has really struggled from being born with eczema, and we're still trying to establish what it is that's causing the eczema. We have been referred to have testing done. We were referred on the 24th of June, to be precise, for testing, and we still haven't heard anything yet. So I'm still chasing that. But eventually when they do get back to me, or I get through to them, I'm going to be really excited to get a date for this testing, because at the moment we're ruling out dairy as a possibility, which means I have had to change my diet to a dairy-free diet, which has been one hell of a challenge, because I love my macaroni cheeses, I love my pizzas and stuff like that. And although you can get a lot of vegan products and stuff, it ain't the same. No, I know a lot of vegans would probably argue that, but it is personal preference. For me, I don't really like the cheese, to be honest with you. It doesn't taste the same. I'm really looking forward to getting back to like my normal cathedral city and things like that. So yeah, that's really bumming me out, not being able to touch dairy. But obviously that's really important, because I don't want the baby to struggle with eczema. So I'm prepared to sacrifice that for Thumper, because obviously what I consume, he consumes. So he's weaning at the moment, and he's not on like dairy stuff until we know. So it's a bit of a pain really at the moment, and we're sort of like in limbo. I think if we find out that it is a dairy situation, then this isn't all for nothing. And if we find out that it's not dairy, then we can get back on track. So I'm really looking forward to getting the results for that one way or another, so that we can just move forward in general. Don't let that put you off breastfeeding, because that's a rare thing. And like I say, it might not even be that, but that is one of the challenges that I've had to face through breastfeeding, and that's been a real major pain, to be honest with you. This is not one of those videos where I'm saying breast is best. I've been the girl that can't breastfeed, and I've been the girl that can breastfeed. I've been on both sides, so I can sympathize with the people that can't or don't want to, and I can sympathize with the people that do as well. But this is just my personal opinion, and it's not a jab at anyone that's not breastfeeding. It's just I'm just trying to spread a little bit of awareness to make people realize that it can be really, really great if you can give it a go. It's free, so that's really handy in this day and age, because let's face it, the cost of food shopping is going up. So if we can save a little bit, then happy days. So breastfeeding is free. Breastfeeding is really healthy for your baby. It's good for your body. It's great bonding. It's easy because it's there on supply and demand, and you don't have too much like stuff to take around with you and stuff like that. So breastfeeding has got some really great qualities. Hopefully this video will help somebody who is trying really hard to breastfeed, but just needs a little bit of inspiration, or needs that little bit of words of wisdom or something like that, you know, to help encourage them a little bit more. Because I was that girl who gave up after 2 weeks, but I'm also that girl, once I got a little bit older, who persevered and got great results at the end. So hopefully anyone that's maybe thinking of giving up, or just needs that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, will find this video very useful and help give them a bit of confidence. Or maybe someone is out there and they're breastfeeding, but they're finding they're a little bit tied to the house because they're feeling a little bit shy of breastfeeding in public and things like that. Is not something to be shied away from. And you know, the more of us that are doing it, then the more normal it will seem to anybody else, and it'll be more accepted. It should be accepted anyway. So the fact that, you know, we're living in year 2022 and people are still offended by women breastfeeding, I think is a really sad situation. So if I can do anything I can to help change that, to make babies' lives better, and to make mums that want to give their babies the best, their lives better, then I'm hoping that this video might bring a bit of comfort or confidence to someone, really. So yeah, that's my take on everything. Like I say, I'm not a professional. I'm not medically trained in any way, shape or form. None. Nada. None. This is just my personal preference. I've wanted to do this vlog for a while, so hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully this might have helped. If you do like this video and you want to see more videos like this, or more baby stuff, hauls or whatever, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be reminded of these videos coming up, then hit the notification bell. If you want to give it a thumbs up, please feel free. Thank you for watching, everyone. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Money boy.